What's up, everyone? My name is Jonathan. Today I'm here with my good friend Stuart. We're going to be talking to you about education and specifically homeschooling. I was homeschooled, so was Stuart, and both of us have taken our careers in different directions. I kind of want to let him introduce himself, tell you about what he does now, and then I'm going to be asking him a few questions about his takeaways and specifically 3 points and 3 questions that I'm interested to have him share with you about his experience with homeschooling and online school and independent study. So in any case, Stuart, take it away. What do you, who are you, what do you do now? Online school,
the fun, all the fun stuff?
Everything.
Yeah, okay.
Tell us.
So my name's Stuart. My background, I was homeschooled like Jonathan, so I think we share kind of a similar bond in the way that we were raised, kind of the process that we went through our primary education. I'm a financial consultant now. The company I work for is a independent advisor on corporate 401k plans. So I'm very much involved in traveling. We have clients all over the country. I spend a lot of time in front of participants, engaging people, doing financial planning, things like that.
Very cool. So he's actually traveling on planes. I mean, you're going. Are you going overseas?
I'm up to I was about 70,000 miles this year worth of domestic travel.
Yeah.
Domestic
Okay.
travel,
So all
racking
all
up the
states,
miles,
but definitely racking up the miles. So you were homeschooled in high school and college, or just college?
all the way up.
Okay, so explain the college thing. And that's going to really get into the 3 questions that we have for today. Explain the homeschool process, because for a lot of people, it's kind of a scary term. Like when you think of a homeschooler, maybe you think of like a kid, inside their tiny little bedroom in front of a laptop, antisocial, right? Is that accurate? What was your experience with being homeschooled?
I think the reality is that when people think of homeschoolers, they think of, like you said, people that are just working out of a closet, very unsocialized, don't really have a lot of interaction with other people, and maybe they develop slowly with some of their more interpersonal skills. I think that was totally different than what I experienced, just in the sense that I was really immersed to a lot of other different students through kind of co-ops, being involved in a larger support group of homeschoolers. And I think that's really where technology, at least in the last 15, 20 years, when it was kind of the prime of when I was being homeschooled, really allowed me to engage a lot of other people in the community that were doing a similar type of education.
I was actually totally going to make that point. Do you think that homeschooling, and really I guess you said it has, I think it's changed, and I think you'd agree with me, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Homeschooling's totally changed with more technology. I mean, you can pop on your laptop and have exposure to a lot more than you used to, like you said, 10 or 15 years ago when we were going through high school. Kind of moving on to your college experience, you did something called College Plus.
Yep.
Which was, tell me a little bit about College Plus, what it was.
Yeah, so college was interesting for me. So I was kind of at that point, I think, where a lot of high schoolers are at, junior, senior year. It's like, where do you go to school? What do I want to do? Kind of what career path do I want to take? And so as I started to kind of look at the different options and, with the help of my parents, sit down and kind of hash out what I want to do for college, we realized that it didn't seem like a viable option really to invest a lot of money in college when, like myself and all the other students around me, I didn't really have a clear path on what I want to do. So I went the College Plus route. I know you probably want to jump in and ask kind of some follow-up questions there, but...
Well, and I was going to say, I feel like many people who are watching this are going to relate to that because, I I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone goes into college, probably I should qualify that. Few people go into college saying,
right,
this is exactly what I want to do.
Right.
But anyone I can think of who's successful, who's made it, either they weren't good in school and they found a way to, hack the business world, or, they set out to college and then they kind of went a different direction. But anyway.
Yeah, and I think the statistic is it's close to half of kids will change their majors, or they won't graduate in the course of study that they actually kind of set out to achieve. So I think that's kind of a good example of just people not really knowing, and it's by no fault of our own, right? It's just kind of finding out what we like to do, experience, things like that. So, kind of to take it back on a more personal level, I wasn't the kid who was like, I want to be a doctor and I need to go to college and the medical school and things like that. So for me, it was a matter of just getting the degree, because that is so important, to be a contributing, factor in a lot of businesses. You have to have the college degree.
It's like a ticket, you can, if you have the ticket, you can get into the concert, let's just say, and without getting into the concert, you can't. Now sometimes, if you have a higher education, whatever, maybe that gets you front row seats, to carry that analogy. But yeah,
it's your ticket to admission. You got to get in the workforce. You got to have the college degree, unless you maybe go the entrepreneurial route. You can obviously work your way up and kind of be part of a startup, I think, in a lot of cases without the traditional education. But in most cases, you really need that piece of paper. So I went the College Plus route. It's more of an involved coaching route, I did a lot of classes that I would self-study for. I would go in and take a proctored exam and then receive the college credit for the class. So my freshman year of college, I was 18. I actually knocked out 60 college units towards my business degree.
Which is,
so
like, anyone who's in college out there, you know, you said the first year.
Yeah, the first year I did 60 units.
That's 2 years of school right there. Like,
Yeah.
that is nuts. That's sick.
So it's doable. It's doable. I was definitely disciplined. It took a lot of concentration. I did have to really self-motivate myself because you don't have the same type of camaraderie. You're not in a classroom setting.
For this component, he was in his bedroom with the doors shut.
Yeah, you know, and you had to be focused in front of a computer. There was a lot of reading. You did have to stay disciplined. But I think the reality is that learning in this fashion actually prepared me for the workforce and the way I learn now. So an example I give of that is, you know, studying for my Series 7 securities license. Wasn't go in and take a class and sit with a teacher and kind of do all that. A lot of it's just reading a textbook and self-study for a couple of months, and then I go and, you know, you take a proctor exam and it's pass-fail. You know, that's the way the real world, the business world studies and passes, you know, material. And I think that the way I did college really prepared me for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that's a great segue to my second question, which is, if there was a takeaway, kind of something that you feel like gives you an edge in the system, and I really, it's a perfect segue, but if there's something that gives you an edge in the type of education that you had with the online school, not having to actually go and sit in a class, but be more self-paced in a self-study environment, do you feel like there's something that gives you an edge over some of your peers maybe, who didn't have that same experience? They went through the traditional 4-year college route, got their degree, applied for jobs and all of that. Do you think there's a specific component of the online education that set you above that?
I think just in general, going the online college route made me a little bit more of an outside the box thinker.
Okay.
Because it's so traditional to, you know, sit for the SATs, apply to a bunch of colleges, you go to a brick and mortar institution for 4 years, or maybe you go to community college for a couple of those. I think just the way I went about it kind of opened my mind to, like, hey, you don't have to just go with the flow, especially when it comes to education. Technology is bringing the world together. There's other alternative forms of education that, you know, I didn't even touch on, like the cost component. Right? Yeah. And I'm in the financial services industry, so I see people all the time, you know, people in their 20s and 30s that are saddled with $100,000 of student loan debt. I didn't have that because I went a more fiscally, I felt in my case, a more fiscally responsible route. I still got the piece of paper. It didn't affect me at all when it came to getting a job, but it was just a huge cost savings as well, and really I think it helped me think outside the box in a lot of other areas.
That's a big fear I think a lot of people have, is if they don't have the piece of paper, you know. And we kind of said about this, it is a ticket, you know, it does open doors. And so then it's like, okay, the traditional route, you know, you go for 4 years. Well, the reality is, generally it's 5 years now because so many colleges are impacted and it's tough to get the classes that you want. And then, you know.
And it's all about money. At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yeah.
The only people that win in that scenario are the institutions, right? Because 100%. You're paying more money to go to that college. So if there's anything that I could leave you with, would be, you know, explore some of the more non-traditional routes and try to find, you know, ways to do it, you know, maybe a little more outside the box. The University of Phoenix was great. My degree was through Thomas Edison State College, was the online institution I graduated through. I never actually set foot on the campus, believe it or not.
And they do have a campus.
And they do have a campus in New Jersey.
New Jersey, okay.
In New Jersey, but I never actually went and sat foot on the campus, but I still graduated. I could have gone there and walked, but it wasn't really something I needed to do, so.
I want to make a video about my own experience with online education. Actually, what Stuart just mentioned was the third and final point. You know, if you are either a teen and you're considering colleges, thinking of going the community college route, or maybe going in a different, less traditional route, like Stuart was talking about, definitely some things to consider. And he mentioned a lot of things. We want to wrap the video up here soon, but you know, the cost savings, and then kind of just maybe even the mental process of thinking how to engineer something together so you still do get that piece of paper, but you know, at the end of the day, you don't have that, you know, $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 debt load going into a job, you know, that's not going to pay you very much right off the bat because you still have to prove yourself. And I think that that's a scenario that a lot of young professionals find themselves in. You know, they get out, they have that piece of paper, but just because they have it doesn't mean that there are other qualified people who have experience they're competing against in the workforce. Yeah. And so in any case, thank you so much for watching. I will make another video on this later on. I want to share my experience going to Colorado State University doing an online program as well. and some of my reflections about that, as well as being homeschooled. But thank you so much for watching. It's been great having
Jonathan, thanks for having me.
Stuart. Yeah, and we will see you all in the next video. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We're going to be releasing a lot of great content, and also I'm putting links below in the description below that has links to my Instagram, my Facebook. I'll actually throw Stuart's there as well if you want to go ahead and follow him and his journey. He's in Laguna doing big things. So yeah, good to have you on the show, man. All right, take care.
Thanks, everyone.